1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So,
Yes.
just now?
And what about you?
No? No.
He's the chairman.
Okay, so we go monthly,
Yes.
all right?
And give a lot of practices.
Starting next season, not this season?
July 1st.
So this season is as is.
Oh, yes.
July, not January.
No, no.
Because it'll be halfway through the year,
Right,
That would be a
halfway
disaster.
through the league.
Valid from 1st of July.
another
13.
Yeah.
Yes,
big
Nate.
one. Players without a federation for a variety of reasons.
Oh, this is a new question.
Oh, sorry, he'll be finished. Just
Yeah, okay,
yes.
yeah, okay. Where is it on here?
Oh, towards the bottom.
Players without federation.
So this covers, just so everyone knows, three sorts that I could think of. Somebody from, I think, Benin or something. Yes, arrived wanting to play in a tournament in Portugal. This was difficult because Benin does not have a federation. What to do? The next problem is people who have been disowned by their federation because they're arguing with them in India, England, whatever. And then there's Cuba, which is slightly different, where they've left Cuba, so Cuba doesn't want anything to do with them anymore, but perhaps neither does their new home. So we have all of these problems, and the result is we have players with no federation, which seems to mean they can't play chess, and that can't be right.
Can't play FIDE.
Oh, fix, you're right. So that's the question.
I have another
Just a moment.
additional problems.
Yes?
There are players who exist, have a rating, but are not on the list. They are secret. Yes. So, how to deal with them? They play in Germany.
No service federation.
Okay, we deal with
No.
that later, all right? Right?
That's a separate.
Yes.
In Asia and in Australia particularly, we are increasingly getting problems with the Chess Federation of India. We've got increasing numbers of them applying to play in our events, and in some cases, even the juniors are not being approved by the All India Chess Federation. And the Chess Association of India have got lots of players now. I don't know what the numbers are, but there was 17 recently wanted to go. And we're kind of got a problem. We don't know what to do with them because we don't want to upset the All India Chess Federation. On the other hand, they want to play in our tournaments, and their ratings at the moment are 0.
No.
But many of them have got IDs.
No.
They've got IDs and they've got zeros on the FIDE website at the moment. Is that correct?
Now they're hidden. They do not even
They
appear.
had zeros last week.
I mean, if it's 0, it's 0. I mean, because he's
Zero is a
rated, but
number.
it's not. If it's hidden, it's hidden. I mean, hidden is excluded from federation.
Yes, this is the last instruction. It is here,
Okay.
it's not 0.
Now, we can't just ignore this problem. We've got to deal with it in some way.
Right, Zevan?
Why doesn't FIDE create a catch-all, which should be basically a FIDE generic federation for these people that have problems? Let them sit in there until problems are resolved.
This is not new.
The number is growing. Before, maybe 3 years ago, we had about maybe 50 such players. Now the number is growing, and it's more than 2,000 now.
They're all
So the FIDE Federation will be the biggest one in 10 years.
Well, we're all one family.
Federation, FID.
What to do with such players?
Wait,
What
is
to
it
do with
FIDE?
such players? They play. They get a new identification or whatsoever. A player I do not know if Colin Costello appears, has no rating, does not know his idea, his ID, and he gets a new identification. Now then he's twice in the system.
Which federation?
England.
England, that one I knew.
And what about the Indians?
Another Indian is far away from us. But another thing in Moldavia. A lady from Moldavia could not change. She married. She could not change her name because her federation ignores her. What to do? Another another such things in other federations. These are players who are playing, who are not known, we don't get a rating, we don't get the identification. So they get a new identification. If I give them a German identification, it's okay. Then there are twice. One with the old federation, which doesn't care, and one with a new federation in Germany.
Okay. The first question about Benin. I thought
Yes, that's
we have a rule which says that games against players who are not FIDE members are not rated.
Correct.
Correct.
So
They
this
are
sort-
black holes.
So this is Benin.
But it wouldn't have been 5 years ago. There used to be a rule that somebody could play under the FIDE flag. And that used to be, for instance, there was an Irish player who had an argument with his federation. I'm not saying who was right, didn't matter. But he didn't want to be, they didn't want him, he didn't want to be with them, so he played under the FIDE flag, which is very similar to the Benin problem. We don't want to stop this man from Benin playing, but that regulation has vanished from the FIDE handbook on the website. Why that's happened, I don't know. Okay?
Okay.
So perhaps you could find out from David Jones, who's the one updating the website, why he's deleted that rule, if indeed it was him. That's one problem. The Indian problem is a very serious one, and I have now heard both sides of the whole argument, and there's of course, as always, rights on both sides. But that's a very specific problem. And there are people who the Federation doesn't want them anymore because they don't like that person. That's again a different problem. But I resent our not being able to let the man from Benin play in our event.
All right. I think in cases like Benin or New Caledonia and things like that, where it is very isolated cases, the organizer can always put it under his own federation if he so much wants to help the player. Right? But to use the FIDE flag is something that we want to avoid because we don't want to encourage all the players to play under the FIDE flag, let's say, as a route. I'll come back to this point later, Igor.
Thank you. I think that the only one thing which could be more flexible, that we can stop, say, deleting players from their national federations if already this cycle or this one championship stuff. Let's say in this case, they shouldn't be excluded without taking into consideration any relations to national federation within this year and a half. I mean, till the end of this one cycle. There's only one thing what can we do. And second, what I want to say that this question, I think, belongs not to QC. It belongs to status of FIDE. And QC should say only to this executive committee after knowing status decision, yes, sir, nothing else.
Thank you. Yes, I was going to come back to this. I think in the cases of the ex-Cubans who live somewhere else and the new the country where they are living do not want to accept them is mainly the Cuban players. And we have situations of India and things like that. I think these are not matters of the QC because these are not technical matters. This is more than technical, it's political conflicts. I would rather this be taken up. It can be a concern of the QC brought to the attention of the Presidential Board or the General Assembly.
But that is exactly what we did a year ago in Krakow. We expressed our deep concern. Nothing has happened.
express it one more time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Right, now, sorry, express deep concern.
Too hard.
Is that right, deep impact? Right, we now move on to the specific rating regulations. Sorry, I will get there. Is that legible?
I don't want to go through line by line like this
good.
morning.
Yeah,
All right,
like we
please.
see.
I think some of you may be getting this today. I would suggest
Well, if everyone has
it's
had it,
€100 for QC. From Werner.
But it's roll up to the window.
Okay, I would suggest 200.
What the changes have been suggested?
I think we've moved on to expulsion from the tournament.
That's 200, I prefer €200.
What are you going to point us to suggesting?
Yeah, that is really
Just the key points. I
Yes.
think those which are changes on amendments because of administrative and things like this.
Cosmetic.
Cosmetic.
Okay, right. Something. Sorry, I'm hoping we'll see it all now.
The key ones.
Yes, yes, but oh, it's still not small enough. I'm sorry. On we'll go. Right. I hope you can read it because now it's all there. Right. I suggested taking out, and it was not agreed here, where a certain number of moves is specified in first-time control, it shall be 40. Now, I know there are people who like that rule. It does keep out quite a lot of tournaments that would otherwise be rated. And if everyone just wants to say no, move on, we'll move on.
No, move on.
Okay.
Just one question. What does 1.2 add compared to the text of 1.1? Why is that?
1.2 is a different article.
But
Yes,
it says
1.1 says what is valid, and
yes.
1.2 says everything else is invalid.
There was a reason for that.
to make it clearer, that's all.
Right. Play must take place according to the FIDE laws of chess. It used to say, or it still does say, the Federation may have minor deviations from the laws of chess if approved by the Technical Commission. Nobody has ever explained to me why the Technical Commission might wish to approve it, whether they ever have, whether they've ever even considered one. I asked the previous chairman, and he had not. I can ask the current one, have you ever been pulled into?
No, because it's state qualification commission.
No, it could be to do with electronic clocks.
Yeah.
And it happened so long ago that we've forgotten about it. When they came in, there were various experiments. I think that might be
But I'm just speculating. Well, look, if the chairman of the Technical Commission doesn't need to keep it, then I think nobody else does. So can it just disappear?
In favor? Okay. Next three.
the next one, the matters.
Those that matters only.
Yes.
Number around.
Right, 413 we have dealt with, good. Well, 5-1. 5-1 clearly is not correct as it stands.
1?
5-1, yes. Depends
Well,
what you
maybe-
mean by the word forfeit, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Yes, it's unplayed games, so... okay, well...
Just the English.
Ah, here we are. Any game where both players have made at least one move will be rated. Now,
Yeah.
that stays.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that explains.
It has been agreed many years ago.
Yes. Yes, of course.
Yes, but there was some thought it didn't help.
I have
Okay.
one question about it.
Yes?
I had a case, a player needed a norm to win. And needed a win for a norm, and he had white. He sit down, made his move, e4. His opponent came and offered a draw. Otherwise, he would go home. The white player refused the draw, and the black player disappeared. And this game was rated. And
Okay.
I think it should be rated.
Okay.
No.
That's a decision by that particular arbiter.
Yes, it was what it was. The black did not move on the board, but he refused to game. He refused to play. But he appeared and refused after not getting a draw.
The rule says one move is played.
Yeah.
Both
sides.
both
Both
sides.
sides.
It's
So
clear.
in this case, it should not be rated.
Because this is a kind of move,
No.
the black.
Okay.
Okay.
You can punish player
With
Say that this is not a vital issue.
No, let's go on.
It's okay. Go back. Composition is clear.
Is there a problem with 6.1? You seem to have deleted it.
Yes, because I did not understand why it was there.
Where was it reinserted?
What do you mean you didn't understand? I'm sure you understand.
An unrated player scores 0 or 12. Disregard.
We discussed this, no?
Yes. Okay, so that stays.
Yeah.
Again, I think it will stop some people getting rated.
Good.
And then
That's
the,
the
Wait, wait.
exception.
okay.
That's the intention always to do a modification.
Now, now we do have to come back to the question of reporting team events round by round, don't we?
No, we can't get a regulation that here today.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
Right.
has to be
We will
thought
word
about.
it, yeah, we will word it.
But that's note that will be a problem. This is all technical.
Remember, we have quite a lot of time.
Yes.
Yes, this is an interesting one. This 7.14C.
Yes. Sorry. From my side, in Bermuda we have a tournament once a year, and people come from abroad. It's the only rated chess they play. Some of them have played 15 rated games. They'll never get a rating, and they know it, and it's a shame.
Because that they would do if it's 2 years and 1 month,
Well,
or 2 months.
they're more likely to. They might not.
So you're suggesting that the rating periods should be longer than 2 years. And not only did we have the Bermuda problem, which we've known about for many years, but we also have this player from another country who fell off our this one.
Oh no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Oh, sorry, fell foul. Right.
The fact it was 2 years.
Oh, it seems there's a lot of them. Yes, this was France. But
Right,
no,
okay,
they
France. Okay, so the suggestion is the 2 years be increased by some number.
well, or abandoned.
Well, I wouldn't try to keep the results for 10 years.
You keep norms for 10 years.
This is rating. This is a different partial rating.
There was a proposal to put it as 25 months, I think. Somebody.
Yeah, that's what I suggested.
Right?
One rating period more than what
Yes.
they have now.
Yes.
Just say 25
Because
months.
it's an annual event, and if they play 4 games every time, they'll never get a rating.
This is correct.
Okay, 25 months, all right?
That would be fine. If you want to make it 26. I'd be perfectly happy.
Want to vote on that?
Yeah.
I think we all
Should
agree.
vote on it.
Okay, we are all for that, 25. Okay, thank you.
I vote no.
Okay.
Just a quick question on
So
that.
anti-nuclear.
Once this gets implemented in 2013, are we going to go back in time to calculate and see who falls in that 25-month period, if they would get a rating or not?
It's not difficult, right?
If somebody wanted to make that proposal, that could be considered.
Ah, you mean
But not here,
retrospective?
now.
Yeah, I'm talking about going back in time.
That's difficult. I mean, it's not physically difficult, but it's fraught, I think. But people who thought they didn't have ratings, suddenly they're told they have got a rating,
And it's not
and
one
they don't like it. And
Yes.
Do you want to know just for reference or just to
No,
make
it'd
it actual, I mean, to come to effect?
To actually come into effect.
Okay. We shouldn't try to decide that when it's first been mentioned to it, right? That's not a great hurry because it won't come into effect until July of next year.
Can we say this? This 25 months period is effective for tournaments starting after 1st January, 1st July 2013?
Or even earlier.
No.
Can't change regulations.
Okay.
Okay.
What
We'll find a
about-
wording for this.
And what about our friends from France who gave us this problem?
Only because he didn't understand English.
Yeah.
Which is understandable coming from France.
But finally it proved to be very difficult to explain.
Because he couldn't understand it. He chose to be obstinate.
Are we through already for rating regulations?
yes, and now there were a small number of significant comments made in all sorts I've listed here. Yes, 1.2, as I said. Yes. If it is logical that if we're allowing weak players to have rated games that only last 3 hours, it is also logical to allow them to play more than, well, say 2 hours, I think, is the minimum. Is that right?
Right.
It's
An
logical
overreach.
to allow them to play more than 3 in a day. But that's just a wording change, but it's... our 6-4, I think, is not happening, is it?
I thought we hadn't defined.
Well, I thought you said you weren't going to...
Oh, yeah. Well, yes, but somebody else.
Right, okay, 6-4 then. It was somewhat contentiously passed that games between rated and unrated players should be rated for both. Since then, Stuart and I have looked into how to do it, and I have made a serious attempt, even though I don't like the idea. Have not so far, I think, come up with a method that works. Stuart may disagree, but it seems to me we haven't, because we'd have drafted it if we had.
Well, the truth is, I said, if I can't convince Nick that what I wrote as a regulation makes sense, then I very much doubt I can convince anybody else either. And therefore, if it's too complicated, we shouldn't do it.
Okay. All right, let's go on.
713 is this, it's a small detail, but there is constant carping when tournaments, a FIDE tournament that ends on December the 31st gets rated, and a non-FIDE tournament ending on December the 29th has to wait another month. I've never understood why it's there, but there seems to be enthusiasm for it. But we do get criticised in the press every time it happens, because it looks inconsistent. And 714F, I will have to remind myself what that is. F is a value, G isn't.
There is no F.
Oh yeah, yes, yes there is, because I deleted it. If you can get
Yes.
you can get a rating based on 7 games in an Olympiad, and other things which don't happen, but Olympiads happen. Otherwise, you need 9 games. How do you even calculate it?
Well, the same way.
The same way.
No problem.
Currently, it's calculated the same way.
Yes, okay. Yeah, sorry. Well, I didn't see why, but other people do, so it's not a big problem.
Well, you can see the thrust of the concept to help people get a rating. You can see, since it mentions the disabled people,
Which we did take out.
I don't say it was wrong to take it out. What I'm saying is we're trying to make it easier for people who have difficulty playing a larger number of games. That's all.
However, the reason we require... Yes, but then why not do it for everyone? Why not just make it 7 games, if that's the way you feel about it?
Because that would might damage the integrity of the system. There's a very few people.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
work today. Okay,
Okay.
well,
7 and 9 are just figures. There are no magic to it. There, 7 and 9, 7 or 9, they are just figures. I mean, 9 has been a figure being in the rules for many years. Yeah. But I think we allow norms for 7 games. Why we cannot accept rated ratings for 7 games?
7-game norms are specific scenarios, though.
No, it is only for European Club Cup
No, team championships.
and team championship.
Yeah. Right? So if we allow norms, why we cannot accept ratings?
I would get rid of the norms as well, is my answer.
no.
Anyway, sorry.
This is something that comes from Professor Illo.
Yeah.
He's the one who introduced that 9 games is a minimum to have something that is correct. But I want to say something, that in Krakow, when Miko was there, we were considerably thinking to revise completely the method for introducing new rated players to the system. All the unrated player calculations should be changed completely. Unfortunately, after Miko's death, we had other priorities, and we do not have yet this official working with Jeff Sonas, who would be the main instructor of how to do this. My question is that we must wait another 2 years to do it, or it is possible to find a way before the next General Assembly to revise the system. This will also help the Israeli Chess Federation to get us other national activity to FIDE. Can we do it? Is there any way to do it? To reserve the responsibility to handle the responsibility to do it without the General Assembly approval? That's the question.
We will have to find a wording for this. To make a recommendation at the General Assembly that this decision to be taken at presidential board.
Yeah.
Some decisions.
This is the only.
This is the only way.
Only way.
Yeah, two reasons have already been mentioned already. One, first of all, is Illo's proposal to start only calculating for 9 games. Second, what Stuart mentioned, the integrity of the system. And third of all, was the reason why the exception was made to go down to 7 games was only for a limited number of tournaments where you can expect that the players already have a given level. That was the reason.
Yes.
And not something that you're again going to introduce players or even not having a level of 1,000 rating points. And that would cause deflation. That's the reason why it is kept